gotten a whole bunch of requests to review WGU's finance degree they released a while ago, so that is exactly what we're going to do. This degree program, and more specifically WGU, is special because it's possible to go through the whole program and earn your bachelor's degree for under $6,000. Not only is it possible to get a super inexpensive bachelor's degree, it is also possible to finish it relatively quickly in around a year's time or so. Just to give you an idea what we're going to get into, I'm going to talk about WGU and why it's special. I'm going to talk about what I would do and what I have done in the past to complete the degree for under $6,000. We're going to cover the actual content of the degree, like what you're going to learn in the program. I'm going to give you a sample of what an ideal resume might look like after having gone through the program. And then finally, we're going to look at some jobs that you might want to apply for after graduating the program. And we're also going to look at some mid and late career positions as well. So if you're looking to get an online accredited degree, not necessarily in finance because they have a whole bunch of programs, definitely keep watching. I'll try to make this next 10 minutes or so well worth your time. And I will say the stuff I'm about to talk about in terms of like the speed at which you can complete the program and how to keep the cost down and all of that, that applies to all of their other degree programs as well. So if you're interested in like IT, cybersecurity, computer science, healthcare, education, business, like this strategy applies to those as well. So just keep that in mind. So WGU is online, accredited, and self-paced. I personally have 3 degrees from there, 2 bachelor's degrees and a master's degree, and I've had a relatively successful career in terms of normal jobs. And the reason why WGU is special is because they have an interesting pricing model where you pay for a term at a time, which is 6 months. In the case of the finance degree, that's about $3,600, and you're allowed to complete as many classes as you can in that 6-month time period. And if you just so happen to complete all the curriculum in that 6-month time period, you just get your bachelor's degree for $3,600. And at WGU, there's not really homework in the sense that you need to turn something in and have it graded. Basically, what you need to do is you just pass a final for every class. That could be in the form of a multiple choice exam and or some kind of series of essays that you need to turn in. And what this means is if you take a class where you kind of know about the content already, you know the topic, you've worked with it before, it's possible to like finish the class really, really quickly, like in one day in some cases. And it's not really easy to complete the whole degree in one term. I've done it myself 3 times actually, and a bunch of other people have done it as well. But I'm going to break down a nice strategy that you can use to finish it way faster than you would have and for really, really cheap. Like I said, under $6,000. So step 1, if this applies to you, would be to transfer in any existing college credits that you might have. If you don't have any, that's totally okay, but if you do, you definitely want to make use of them. Step 2 would be to sign up for study.com and complete as many transferable classes as you can on there, and then transfer them into WGU. I'll definitely explain this in depth later in the video, but this is where you can save a lot of money and complete the degree for under $6,000. And then step 3, which is optional, before you actually register and pay for WGU, you can look at the remaining classes that you have left after transferring the stuff in from study.com and kind of pre-study those classes a bit. Like I said, this isn't really required, but it will help you a lot and you'll be able to complete the remaining classes much faster, kind of increasing the chance of you being able to finish the remaining classes in one term, if that makes sense. And finally, the last step is simply register at WGU and complete the remaining classes. So kind of deep diving on these 4 steps a bit, the first step being transfer in any existing college credits. All you have to do is get with a WGU enrollment counselor. They're going to ask you if you have any previous college. You send them your transcript, they'll evaluate it. And then in the evaluation, it'll say like which classes were satisfied from your transfer that you no longer have to take at WGU. This kind of decreases the amount of classes you have to take, thus decreasing the time and money that you have to spend potentially. So step number 2, deep dive, using study.com to complete as many transferable classes as you can. Basically, study.com is an ACE accredited educational institution where you can take classes from and then transfer them into the degree program, further reducing the amount of classes that you need to graduate. If you use the discount link in the spreadsheet, it's about $165 a month for the first 3 months. After that, it becomes $235 per month. For these prices, you can take up to 2 classes per month from study.com, but if you want to take more than 2, it's just an additional $70 per class. And if you're wondering how long it takes to complete classes at study.com, it really depends. But for me, for like kind of difficult classes, if I'm trying, I can do about a class per week. And if you're wondering which classes you need to take from study.com to transfer them into WGU, whether or not that's for the finance degree or another degree, I kind of made this spreadsheet here that you can use as a guide. And what this would look like, say for example, you went through and completed all the classes from study.com. We can filter this and select only blanks. And in the end, you would only have 12 classes left to complete at WGU after transferring everything in from study.com. And this is pretty much what my remaining classes looked like when I was doing my computer science degree. Instead of 12, I had only 11 classes left, and I finished them in under 3 months, which is ridiculously fast. Don't necessarily expect to finish that fast, but it is possible. And to get an idea for how much money you can expect to spend at study.com, we can kind of just count up the classes and do a little bit of math. So if we look at the possible transfers, there's a total of 28 transfers. So we need to complete 28 classes from study.com. And if we look at this, if we do 2 classes per month from study.com, we take into consideration a discount for the first 3 months. If we're doing exactly 2 classes per month, we can expect to pay about $3,000. But if we do 4 classes per month, which is quite fast, by the way, we can expect to pay this much, assuming there is a discount for the first 3 months. And doing 4 classes a month, you will only pay $2,400. And it's kind of interesting. If you go faster, not only will you finish faster, obviously, you end up paying less in the long run. And this is how you can complete the entire degree in under $6,000. So if you did 4 classes per month from study.com, you'll end up paying about $2,400. And then 1 term at WGU for the finance degree is about $3,600. In total, it's about $6,000 or slightly under $6,000. Now at this point, after transferring in all your study.com classes with your enrollment counselor, you can either start pre-studying for the remaining classes at WGU, or you can just hop right into WGU and just register and start taking classes. It could help you, like if you really want to finish the remaining classes in 1 term, I do recommend kind of taking your time, looking at the few remaining classes you have, seeing if any of them look difficult, and maybe consider pre-studying those topics a little bit before actually paying money and registering at WGU. Now, what I personally do when I'm trying to research classes and kind of pre-study them before I enroll is, for example, you can go to this spreadsheet here, and we can just assume that maybe corporate finance is going to be one of the classes that you need to complete, right? So I would probably copy the class code here in corporate finance as well, and then I would go to Google and I would search the class code in corporate finance, cite reddit.com, and then you can kind of see all these Reddit threads of people talking about it. And you can probably find some stuff where they talk about strategy or like what they found difficult about the class, and they'll give some tips on what you can do to study and like prepare for the test. It's better than going in blind. Obviously, like WGU has all of the necessary curriculum and books and like videos and other material that you can use to pass the class. But if you really want to like optimize the speed at which you go through the program, doing something like this can be really, really helpful. And it's helped me a lot as well. And then finally, step 4, get with your enrollment counselor, pay your tuition, complete the rest of your classes, and graduate. So getting right into the actual content of the degree, there's a lot of general and business specific classes that are going to be kind of taken care of once you transfer stuff in from study.com, but there's a lot of finance specific classes that I want to kind of go over at a high level here real quick. There's personal finance, financial statement analysis, corporate finance, financial management 1 and 2, enterprise risk management, innovation in finance, and finally your finance capstone, which is kind of like your final project for the whole program. Next, we're going to look at what an ideal resume might look like from someone who graduated from this program. I'll put a link to this in the description, so feel free to make a copy of this for yourself if you would like. So this is the actual resume that I use in my IT and cybersecurity course. It's gotten people jobs quite a bit. I just kind of retrofitted it to work with the finance degree. And I'm not like a finance person. I don't know what makes a great finance resume, but I imagine this one is pretty good. So let me know in the comments if this is bad, or if you would add something to it or whatever. But this is the actual finance degree itself. This is a free class that you can take from WGUX. It's not required, but it might look good depending on the type of job that you're trying to get. These 2 certifications, these are apparently like financial certifications, and the actual finance bachelor's degree curriculum is designed around these, at least according to WGU. So you could put these on your resume and just say you're studying for them and it's in progress or something like this. It might help the applicant tracking system and like automated resume scanners. It might help to put something like this. If projects are something that people do in finance, these are some ideas for projects that you could do. This one's just like a YouTube channel. It doesn't have to be great, but you could talk about personal finance because there is a personal finance class in this course. You could do a project for like a financial analysis of a Fortune 500 company, or you could do some kind of financial modeling and data visualization project. I don't know how to do these because like I'm not like a finance person, but I could definitely figure it out if I went through this degree program, using ChatGPT and like other stuff. I could figure out how to make some nice projects. So that's some kind of idea for something that you could do. Experience. I kind of made this resume to work with anybody. So if you work at like Starbucks or Target or McDonald's or something, use ChatGPT to come up with some nice, job experience section like this. And then the skills and technologies. I should probably just say skills for this, maybe, since it's finance, but I just dumped some stuff in here. I got this from ChatGPT based on the stuff that's actually in the program. So for sure, feel free to copy this resume. You can go to file, make a copy for yourself if you find it useful. And then getting into the job and salary aspect of things, if we look at Bureau of Labor Statistics, basically it's saying overall employment in business and financial occupations is projected to grow faster than average for all other occupations for the next 10 years, with almost a million openings projected per year, which is pretty good. And then getting into the actual jobs that you might consider working. Of course, there's like thousands of different job titles, but basically what I did here is I dumped the program guide into ChatGPT and I asked it to come up with some job titles that made sense for the program in terms of like entry, mid, and senior level. And then I used ChatGPT in conjunction with Indeed.com to kind of figure out the average salary for each one of these. And then I labeled them here as entry, mid, and senior. So of course the salaries is maybe slightly different in the real world, and of course there's like way more positions than this, and you can expect to make way more than this as a CFO. This is just purely based on like the average estimated salaries inside of Indeed, if that makes sense. And of course a CFO, you can probably expect to get some kind of payment in the form of like stock or RSU or something like this. But these are pretty decent numbers, pretty decent job titles, and it's made with real data. So you can just kind of get an idea, if that makes sense. So as a business owner who's doing like a whole bunch of random different stuff, I think the degree looks really, really cool. And if I could snap my fingers and learn the stuff, I absolutely would, because it's a lot of stuff that I wish that I knew. And just as a reminder, the spreadsheet that I showed partway through this video has all of the degree programs from WGU, not just the finance degree. So definitely look through there, use the links in there. You will automatically get 30% off study.com. Best of luck with your studies, and thanks for watching.